Today's episode is sponsored by Dancesoft Gamers. Dancesoft Gamers is the leading distributor of video games and other consumer gadgets like the podcast microphone sets, ring lights, headphones, and affordable smartwatches, and many other cool gadgets. For these and more, visit their website at www.dancesoftgamers.co. That is www.dancesoftgamers.co. Mujevale, Mujevale, Mujevale. My name is Bani Kibuka, and welcome to another episode of the Ugandan Ball Talk Show. Welcome to my podcast, Anesu.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Do you mind?
Is it?
Yeah, it's Bonnie. Do you mind saying your full name for the listeners? Introducing yourself to the listeners.
Oh, so I'm Anesu Ruvando.
Kidoro.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So Anesu means it means He is with us. So God
Oh,
is with us.
nice.
Then Chido is like passion. Yeah. Then Ruvando, I don't know what it means.
I like the names where it actually has a good meaning to. I'm like that. Like when I'm naming something, I want to have
Mm-hmm.
like a basis on why I'm naming it, like something that has a good meaning. So
Yeah, that's
how are you
awesome.
doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I was watching a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Pieces of a Woman.
Pieces of a
So yeah,
woman.
it triggered a lot of emotions. Yeah, it's just hectic.
Where are you catching this podcast from?
From Harare, Zimbabwe. Yeah.
Every time you say Harare Zimbabwe, you say, "Hey, yeah." Why do you? Are you just cheering for your country?
Yeah, I'm just cheering for my country, just
Nice.
putting it out there.
Yeah, and that
Mm-hmm.
reminds me, like you are the fourth person from Zimbabwe that's on my podcast. So I think I'm starting to. I should just add another name like the Ugandan Boy Talk Show / Zimbabwe because now I'm having like
You know.
now I'm
You
having a
should.
lot of people from Zimbabwe coming on my podcast. But yeah, the
That's
way
awesome.
I connected to you through Charmaine, I had Charmaine on
Charmaine.
my podcast, and she really had a good conversation about life and what she
Mm-hmm.
does and her proverb. So that's how I got connected to you. So how do you know Charmaine?
So I was following one of her friends, Ruby Praise, and she posted like, you guys should follow my friend Charmaine. She has a new Instagram account. So I've started following Charmaine on Instagram, and I loved like her content and how authentic she is and all that. And
Mhm.
then she posted something about her proverb when she was
Yeah.
starting a proverb. But she was like, I need people who want to be part of this group, whatnot. And I volunteered to be part of that group. And I met her for the first time, I think in August, when we did the launch of her proverb. And she's just this beautiful and amazing soul. You should meet her in person. Like, she's
Yeah.
just an angel in human form, I would say. Like, she's, I don't know. And her mother, too. Like, they're the most beautiful people.
Glad you mentioned her proverb because that was one of the things too I really liked about what she does.
Mm-hmm.
And when she was talking about it, I liked like she's doing that to help other girls. And I think when I was asking her about her, that's how your name came up out part of that. And I
Mm-hmm.
liked your testimony that she shared about that. How has that helped you personally, like being a part of that group, her proverb?
Man, I think when I joined, right,
Hmm.
I was in the group for like, I think 2 weeks. Then something happened to me, a very traumatic event. And then I just had to, I was struggling to decide whether I should stay in the group or not because I was very overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And I had to make that decision of, okay, I just need to take a break from the group. And I told Charmaine, like, Charmaine, this is what happened to me, and I need to take a break from the group. And I took a break from the group, but I just had that feeling of, I need to go back, I need to go back, I need to go back. So when I got back to the group and I started explaining my story and all that, it's just good to have that group of people that do not
Right.
judge you, that are there to listen and just give you advice and pray for you. And I don't know, it's just
Mm-hmm.
an out of body experience. It's beautiful. I don't know how to explain it.
I think I understand what you're talking about because it's always good to have other people behind you, especially when you're
Exactly.
going through like something that tough. I don't know how like everybody, like most people go through some tough situations, and it's always nice when you have somebody on you like around you to just encourage you and uplift you. And that's
Yeah.
why I wanted to ask a lot about that because I know we all struggle in life and we go through
Mm-hmm.
different things, but we always need people around us to uplift us and then just encourage us. So how long have you now been in the group? Because I know you left and then came back.
I left and then came back.
Yeah.
I would say like probably 4 months.
The one thing that I usually tell people, like I know it's a girl's page, and but when you're sharing about God, it doesn't matter whether you're a guy or a girl. I know it might be just named that to uplift the girls because most men they need the uplifting. But when you
Mm-hmm.
see what the page shares about God and the grace of God and everything, that it doesn't matter who you are, either you're guy or girl, it's gonna be the
Mm-hmm.
same grace that God gives. So I'm pretty happy to see that this such a thing like helps you. And the other part of your life was what you is modeling that I was gonna
Mm-hmm.
ask you about. Like I've seen on your Instagram you posted recently about top model Zimbabwe. How did you
Yeah.
get how did you get connected to top model Zimbabwe and have you always wanted to be a model?
Yeah, I've always wanted to be a model, and I was in a dark place in June, and I just needed to do something, like something to keep my mind occupied.
Right.
And I was following top models in page on Instagram, and I saw that they were doing this course in June for like 2, 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why not? Let me do the course, and I did the course, and now I'm officially a model and I'm part of Top Model Zim
Like what is your expectation like when you decided, okay, I want to try this thing out? Like what were you looking at when you're trying to become a model?
model. I was trying to work on my confidence.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I've struggled with is my confidence. I was trying to work on that and just me being comfortable in my own skin,
Hmm.
just me embracing who I am. Yeah. And there's so much more to modeling than just walking. People think that all models do is walk and
Uh-huh.
pose in front of pictures and all that, but
I'm glad
that's
you
not
shared
it.
that. I'm glad you shared that because that's what actually a lot of people think. And I've like I've told you, I've hosted a lot of models on my podcast. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think I've had Miss Uganda and I've had the CEO of Top Model Uganda and some
Okay.
models from Uganda, but you would hear them say like, actually in Uganda, I don't know if that's how it is in Zimbabwe, that
Mm-hmm.
most people think models are just obscene, like they're just gonna be naked, they're just gonna be like they're just gonna view them as like I don't know the
That's
word.
so true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
hear
how it
you.
is in Zimbabwe?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It is what it is, but there's so much more to us, guys. You need
Mhm.
to just follow us and you see.
Yes, follow.
Follow Top Models Aim and you'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. What is the message you can send to a young girl like who wants to be a model, but she's
Hmm.
going through like what you're just talking about, like not being confident about their bodies and just scared of what people are gonna think of people terming them as to be spoiled people. What would you send to a young girl out there listening?
Listen, I would say like go for it. Go for your dreams. Like, listen, what at the end of the day, what people say doesn't really matter. People's opinions don't really matter. Because if you're always thinking about, okay, what are people gonna say? What are people gonna say? You're never gonna achieve your dreams or your goals or whatever. Just do you, just go for it. I mean, yeah.
I'm glad you passed that on because every time I host somebody who is in the field or who's working to the field, I like to encourage somebody else who is listening.
One thing for sure is you don't want to look back and say, I should have, I could have. I
Yeah.
think it's better to say, you know what, I tried, but it didn't work out. So it's
Mhm.
better you do it and then you know if it's for you or it's not for you.
Yeah, you never wanted to be in the position to regret
Mm-hmm.
life. You gotta take the opportunity when you get it. So I wanted to know about like your background, just like
Mm-hmm.
your childhood background. Like you said,
Background.
you were born in Zimbabwe. Like, how was life for
Mm-hmm.
you, like growing up?
So I was born in a small town here in
Mhm.
Gweru. It's called Gweru. Then we moved to Harare, the capital city.
Mhm.
And most of my childhood, I lived with my mom because my
Mhm.
dad was working outside of the country.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really remember, like having any conversations with my dad or anything like that. Most of my childhood, I remember it with my mom, not
Yeah.
with my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we moved back to Gweru because life got really hectic in 2009.
Hmm.
Yeah. Then we had to move back to Gweru and, moving to a new school and all that. That was hectic.
Yeah.
But yeah,
How many
uh,
siblings do you have?
I have one,
You have one.
a brother. Yeah, he's 16, Monashi.
I
I
see.
named him, by the way.
You named him?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you how old you are, but I don't wanna embarrass you on the podcast to ask you how old you are. If he's
That's
16,
fine. I'm 22.
oh, 22, yeah. So that
Yeah.
means you were like how old? That's like
I
six.
was 6. Yeah, I was
Mhm.
6.
Yeah, that's funny. So how is it like being like a elder sibling?
Being an elder sibling. I don't know.
How
I
is
don't really feel I don't really feel like I'm the
you don't
older
feel?
one. You
Yeah,
feel, yeah, I don't feel there's any difference. Like I do me,
he
he does
does.
his own stuff. Yeah. There's no
Al-
pressure from my side to be like, the role model or whatever, to set the pace or whatever. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Like when you don't have pressure. But I've also some people here who have like siblings and they feel like, oh, they're looking up to you.
To
You like you
you.
feel pressure. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's good. Like you if you don't have pressure. The two guys that I hosted my podcast, they're from Chinoy. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, they grew up in Chinoy and
Mm-hmm.
now they live in the United States now. So yeah.
It's awesome that you still remember the name Chinoi. Okay.
I remember everything. And then
That's awesome.
Charmaine also told me that they were, Chinoy is just like a small town. In,
Yeah, it is.
yeah,
It is
that's
very small.
that's crazy. Have you been outside Zimbabwe to another country before?
Yeah, I've been to South Africa multiple times,
Like,
and I've been to Botswana once. Yeah.
what are some of your favorite things to do?
Some of I love listening to podcasts.
Yeah,
I follow Jay Shetty.
yeah.
There's this guy from Dubai. It's called Anas Bukash. I think you should follow him.
Hmm.
His podcast I think it's called the Bukash Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love listening to audiobooks. I crochet, by the way. I love crocheting. It just helps me like process my emotions and whatever.
yeah.
I love going out, like for lunch and
Mhm.
breakfast. Or, yeah,
Yeah, I think I've seen some on your Instagram where you guys go out and eat and have
yeah,
like girls hang
that's
out
so
with.
my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad. That's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
So the other thing too, I saw like the Hot Proverb. You guys are, I think Charmaine posted that you guys are planning a trip to go to TDJX's. Are you excited for that? And are you gonna be
Oh, I'm super excited.
there?
I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited to go. Yeah, man. And it's funny how I got like the novel, the
Hmm.
book, Woman Evolve,
Yeah.
just a few days ago, and the fact that we're going to Women Evolve
Hmm.
next year is like crazy. I think God is just working behind the scenes, so I cannot wait to start reading the book, and I cannot wait to go.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So I wanted to ask you also, like, how did you like give your life to Christ? When was the first time, and what made you like want to say, I want to give my life to Christ?
to
And
Christ.
yeah.
I think it was this year. It was this year. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, So I went through something very traumatic, and I had prayed to God like before the whole thing happened. I had said to God, God, please do not let this, and this happen. And he let it happen. So I was very angry, and I couldn't pray or listen to gospel or go to church or anything like that. I was, yeah. So I had to take some time off, and then I slowly came back to praying. You now start, asking questions like, God, why did you let this happen? Why this and that? And then God starts answering in different ways through people and all that. So that's when I started reconnecting and now surrendering my life to Christ. Like, okay, God, I hear you, and I'm surrendering my life, and I'm leaving my life in your hands, that sort of thing. So yeah.
That's really deep, and I'm glad you shared that. And I apologize. I don't want, and I want you to keep it like that. Like just mention
Okay.
something that happened. Like don't go into details of what happened because I don't want to like bring the memories back to whatever happened. But I'm
Right.
glad that you are willing to just share like whatever like you went through, and that makes me happy to see that now you're happy and like God is working in your life, and to see when you hear somebody share a story like they were in dark times and then you see them smile, it's there's a way it's like makes me happy too to just see another person
Uh,
like
that's
smile.
awesome.
I'm glad you shared that. I really I really like
Well, thank you.
I think that's the highlight of everything like we've been talking about because I'm so passionate about people being happy and people
Mm-hmm.
knowing like God is in control and God is taking care of them and all that. So yeah, I'm glad you shared that. What are some of
Mm-hmm.
the favorite things like and I don't know if you guys do a lot of activities like in the Hub Proverb program. Like I know you guys do like live where you talk with other people, but what are some of the things you enjoy about that group when you guys meet or hang out?
Everyone has their own story. We everyone has their own story and it's unique, but you always relate to what someone is saying. You get testimonies. It's a lot. You learn a lot. Like someone can just post a verse or something, or just say what happened to them during the day or whatnot. It's just, yeah, and I've connected with them on different levels.
Yeah, that's pretty good that at least you have like a connection and something that sticks out to you when you guys meet or when you have like a Bible study, when you have something like that.
Mm-hmm.
What has been a life lesson like you've learned in life so far till today?
Ooh, that's a good one. Like the universe will keep throwing the same lesson, I would say, or the same, I don't know what I would call it. Let's just call it a lesson until you learn the lesson. Like history will keep repeating itself until you learn the lesson, I would say. So if you don't learn the lesson, it will happen again and
Yeah.
again and again until you learn the lesson. It has happened to me like, oh, there was this situation. It happened like 5 times.
Hmm.
And I was like, God, why? God, why? And it kept repeating itself until I learned the lesson. And when I learned the lesson, it didn't happen again. And like, okay. So yeah, you really have to like pay attention, to your surroundings, and you be self-aware. And yeah, I think you should be, yeah, just be self-aware and listen. And yeah,
That's good. That's a good
I don't
answer.
know if that makes sense though.
It does, and I was gonna just touch up on a little bit because you said it's something that I've learned, and that's why I ask people these questions because it helps me like think about it because I
Mm-hmm.
never even remember like you will keep learning, like it will teach you a lesson till you learn that lesson. It's basically like
Mm-hmm.
also like correcting a mistake. Like if you keep repeating this,
Mm-hmm.
like it's gonna happen again and again and
And
again until you correct that.
yeah,
Yeah, it
exactly.
definitely makes a lot of sense. The other thing is what gets you excited about life?
What gets my like, oh, ooh, I like my future, man. I cannot wait to see. the woman I become, like the person, like, oof, I don't even know how to
Yeah.
describe it, but I'm so excited
Mhm.
because I've been through a lot, especially this past 2 years. And there's this thing of I read this quote, like the devil doesn't steal from like someone who doesn't have like a great destiny, or someone who's not gonna make an impact or anything like that. So the fact that the devil keeps like trying to destroy you, to kill you, that sort of thing, it means there's something big, something on you. So I'm like, I cannot wait to see what that is
That
that the
is
devil
deep.
is trying to take away from me,
That is
So I
deep.
just cannot wait to see what's in the future. Yeah.
That is really deep. And actually, that reminds me of a question that I've always wanted to ask you ever since we scheduled the recording. The question was from your name becoming Anesu. Why did you
Mm-hmm.
choose that name to be your Instagram user, becoming Anesu?
Okay. So last year was last year I kind of lost
Okay,
myself.
this might come out 2023 because we're almost like at the end of the year.
Oh, okay,
So,
2021. In
okay,
2021,
okay.
I kind of lost myself. Like I had this very nasty breakup and I lost myself in that breakup. Yeah, identity crisis. And I had to reach out to this guy called Alvin. He's named Growing Simba on Instagram. And I reached out to him and I was like, please be my mentor, because I loved it, the content he was posting and all that. Please be my mentor and all that stuff. So as he was mentoring me, he was helping me find myself,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. He was helping me unlearn a lot of things that I've learned all these years. And he was helping me relearn certain things and find myself and all that. That's how I changed my name. So my first Instagram name was Louis Culture. So I joined like my mom's name
Yeah.
with Culture. I love the name Culture. So I joined the first, part of my mom's name and Culture, and I changed it to becoming Anesu. Like I finally found myself and I'm becoming me,
Mhm.
and it's like a process, becoming and learning and all that. So that's why, yeah,
I like
called
when
me.
I also like when people talk about self-identity because a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
struggle with that. A lot of people hate their lives. A lot of people like they don't know who they are. And sometimes you can't
Mm-hmm.
judge them because it's part of life where somebody really doesn't know. But like I'm big at encouraging people about self-esteem because I want to love myself first. Like I'm gonna love myself before anybody else like loves me. So I want
Yeah.
to impact other people with the same thing. Like there's a lot of people who don't love themselves and they forget like
Mm-hmm.
to start with you. And I like when people talk about that self-identity and you talking about how you can't wait to see who you're becoming. And like it's a process. It's gonna get better.
Yeah.
That's always good. So yeah, we're coming to the close of the podcast, and this is my other final question. Like I ask people, like, who would you like to see on my podcast? And you're gonna have to help me find that person on the podcast.
Hmm. So I have like maybe 9 people in mind.
Oh my god. Nine
Oh my
people.
gosh.
Uh,
Yeah. My cousin brother,
Okay.
Brandon. He studied marketing, and he designs suits, really dope suits.
Hmm.
And he used to stay like in Ukraine, then he moved to Canada.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he also has like a lot to tell on the whole Ukraine situation. He wasn't there when the war started, but he has like
Mhm.
friends who were affected and all that.
Right.
I have there's Lennox. Lennox, the photographer, is from Zim. He's a really cool photographer. He's very authentic. There's Kuda Rice is the model.
Mhm.
There's also Kuda Rice. He writes very cool poems. There's Kuda Matiza is a very cool designer.
Yeah.
He stays in SA, but he's from Zim. There's Taurai. So Taurai is like Charmaine. She
Mm.
also has like her own group. It's called Femi Tribe. Yeah,
Yeah.
you should speak to Taurai. Who else? Who else? No, I'm forgetting the names. Oh my gosh.
No, you know what?
Uh,
You know what we're gonna do? Like, because I know most of all those people might say no. Most people might say, "Oh, I don't want to be on a podcast." Oh, but when you
mhm.
reach out to them and anybody says they would love to be on a podcast, you can connect them to me, and then I'll connect myself to them and introduce myself to them and see if they want to be on the podcast.
I'm sure all of them will say yes.
Okay. I hopefully they do. But yeah, it's been amazing to have you on the podcast and just learn a little bit about your life and you sharing about some of the things part of your life. And I'm sure what you've shared will inspire a gal who is listening or anybody out there.
Hmm.
Maybe it's going through a tough time. But before I let you go, is there any other thing that I've not asked you about that you'd want to share with the listeners today, or what you feel like you have on your heart to share to somebody out there?
I would say, yeah, like what you're saying, like you need to love yourself first. Self-love is very, very important. In self-care, you need to pour into yourself first before you start pouring into other people. You can't, yeah, you need to start pouring into yourself first before you start pouring into other people. Just love yourself, take care of yourself, and you can't give what you don't have. If you don't have that love for yourself, then you can't give that love to other people. If you don't have that kindness, if you don't show yourself that kindness, then you can't pour that kindness, so it won't be enough. Yeah, I think,
It's,
yeah, that's it.
it's dope. And actually, I think that's going to be the title of your episode. You can't give what you don't have. I like that one.
Ah,
That's amazing.
that's awesome.
But anyway,
That's
thank you
awesome.
very much. And then I'll keep you posted on after I do the edits and all that stuff when it's gonna be out and when it's be ready.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for having me. Oh, I actually wanted to ask this. So my nationality is Zimbabwean. So what do you guys call yourself? You say Ugandan,
Yeah,
Ugandan,
Ugandan.
Ugandan. Oh, okay.
Actually, that's
Okay.
funny because the day after that I recorded with the first people from Zimbabwe, I was like, how do they call people from Zimbabwe? I was like, I didn't know. What did you say? Zimbabwe? What did you say this?
Zimbabwean.
Zimbabwean. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
I looked it up. I had to go to Google and I looked it up.
Okay.
Zimbabwe. Yeah,
And you speak Swahili and what else?
I speak Swahili. Actually, Uganda, we don't mainly speak Swahili. Swahili is from Kenya, but I
Oh,
do speak
okay.
Swahili because my mom is from Kenya. So, like, my mom is Kenyan and my dad is Ugandan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. That's
Yeah. So I
interesting.
speak Swahili, Luganda, and English.
Oh, okay. Okay. So those are the only three languages you speak in Uganda.
I speak Kalenjin, my mom's tribal language, but I'm not very fluent in that. But
Okay,
She's a
okay.
Kalenjin. So, all right, thank you very much, and stay in contact and let me know when any of those people say yes, so then I can put them on my schedule to record with them.
Okay, okay. Thank you for having me. It was good talking to you.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Hey there, this is Bonnie Kibuka, the host of the Ugandan Boy Talk Show. Thanks for watching and listening to my podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with a friend and recommend somebody to this podcast. Don't forget to leave a feedback on this podcast because that's how we grow. And also don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. Join us on our social media platforms on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So we'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much and be blessed. Today's episode is sponsored by Dance of Gamers. Dance of Gamers is the leading distributor of video games and other consumer gadgets like the podcast microphone sets, ring lights, headphones, and affordable smartwatches, and many other cool gadgets. For these and more, visit their website at www.danceofgamers.co. That is www.danceofgamers.co.